Hello everyone, I am Valentina Costa and today, together with my classmates Valentina Prince and Daniela Bolaño, we will explain the reading, writing and speaking assessment activity that we have planned. So, about the contextualization of the exercise, this is called My Family, and we decided for 6th grade students who, according to Colombian standards, have an A2 English level and an age range between 11 and 12 years old. Some of the specific standards established by the Ministry of Education that found in our activity are the next ones. The first one is I can describe a person, a place or object that is familiar to me in simple sentences, although I can use notes or my teacher to help me if I needed to. The second one is I can write a short text about myself, my family, my friends, my environment, or about facts that are familiar to me. And the last one said I can extract general and specific information from a short text written in simple language. This activity was designed to improve students' English level, as it requires them to concentrate, analyze, and remember information in order to answer questions based on a text or their personal lives. Now, how to implement this activity? First, the text will be read aloud twice by the teacher. Then, each student will have to mentally read the text and answer the questions in the reading part. When this is finished, they will go to the writing part and they will have to read the model text that appears there so that they know how to write their own paragraph. In addition, they will have to read the questions that they must answer within that paragraph. When this is finished, everyone will be given some time to quietly practice their oral presentation of their paragraph, since fluency and good pronunciation will be taken into account. Then, each one of the students will go to the front of the class so they can present their paragraph and answer the 4 questions that the teacher will ask each one of them based on the family topic. Now, this is the activity. Starting with the reading part, these are the objectives. So, the first one says, students will be able to identify specific information and important details in a text about family. The second one says students will demonstrate general understanding of the text by correctly answering comprehension questions. About the score, this reading part is worth 15% of the grade. Each question is worth 1.9. If all the questions are correct, the total score for this part of the assessment will be 15. The students will need to read the following text about John's family and answer the next questions. The question A says, where does John live? Number B says, what does John's father do for work? Letter C says, where does John's mother work? Letter D says, how old is John's sister and what does she like to do? Letter E says, what does John's little brother enjoy playing with? Letter F says, what do John and his family usually have for breakfast? Letter G says, what activities does John's family do on weekends? And letter H says, why does John love his family? Now, in the writing part, these are the objectives. Students will write a short paragraph about their family using appropriate grammatical structures and vocabulary. And the second one says, students will describe their family members, their occupations, and daily activities in an organized text. About the score, the writing part is worth 20% of the grade. The answer to each question is worth 5. If all the questions are answered in the correct form in the paragraph, the total score for this part of the assessment will be 20. Then it says, write a short paragraph about your family. Answer the next questions in the paragraph. So now these are the questions. The first one says, how many people are in your family? The second one says, who they are and what they do. And the third one says, what activities you do together. And the last question says, why you like your family. Now this is the example. And for the last, here's the speaking part, and these are the objectives. The first one is, students will speak fluently about their family, answering questions about family relationships and daily activities. And the second one says, students will engage in brief conversation, demonstrating the ability to describe their family members and routines using the vocabulary learned. Now about the score of this part of the assessment. A speaking part is worth 15% of the grade. The answer to each question is worth 3.75. If all of the 4 questions asked by the teacher are answered in the correct form with fluency and good pronunciation, the total score for this part of the assessment will be 15. The students need to talk for 1 to 2 minutes about their family using the ideas they broke down in their writing part. After their presentation, they need to also answer 4 questions that the teacher will ask them about the topic, that is, my family. These are some of the possible questions that the teacher can make to them.
Hi, I'm Valentina Prince, and now I'm going to explain the reasons why we choose to design this activity and the common challenges and creative solutions. First, we have language development. Discussing family allows students to practice and acquire vocabulary related to relationships, occupations, and daily activities. This vocabulary is fundamental for their language development, as it is often used in everyday conversations. By using familiar subjects, students can focus on the correct application of language skills rather than feeling overwhelmed by complex or unfamiliar topics. And for this reason, this approach helps reinforce key language concepts. Encouraging self-expression. The topic of family provides students with an opportunity to express themselves and share their personal stories. This expression is important for building confidence, while using English areas encourage students to communicate their thoughts and feelings. And at the same time, writing and speaking about their family allows students to practice language in a context that feels safe and supportive, enabling them to take risks with their language use without the fear of making mistakes. The third one is development of social skills. Engaging in discussions about family promotes important social skills such as listening, empathy, and respect for others' opinion. Students learn to appreciate different perspectives and experiences as they share and listen to a story about families. This collaborative learning environment encourages teamwork and improves the interpersonal communication skills, which are essential not only in language learning but also in their overall personal development. Common challenges and creative solutions. While developing this activity, several challenges may arise. For example, students may struggle with vocabulary or sentence structure during the writing task. To address this, we can provide a word bank and sentence starters to give them Another challenge could be students feeling anxious about speaking in front of their classmates. To alleviate this, we can incorporate pair or small group discussions before the whole class presentations, allowing students to build confidence and practice in a supportive setting. Encourage a culture of peer support will help create a more relaxed atmosphere for speaking activities.
Hi, my name is Daniela Bolaño, and now I'm going to explain the macro and micro skills that we have decided to develop in this reading, writing, and speaking activity. First of all, with the reading skills, the macro skills are recognize cohesive devices in reading discourse and their role in signaling the relationship between and among clauses. As students read the text about John's family, they will encounter sentences that use these cohesive devices. For example, when the text states, John loves his family because they have fun together, the word because indicates casual relationship, showing why John feels a certain way. By identifying these cohesive devices, students will learn how they function to connect sentences and clarify relationships between ideas, which enhances their comprehension of the texts. As a macro skill, we have to infer context that is not explicit by using background knowledge. The theme of family is something that all students can relate to, as they have their own family structures and experiences. As they read about John's family, students can draw off their knowledge of family dynamics, roles, and activities. This personal connection allows them to infer meaning from context that may be not directly mentioned in the text. For example, when the text discusses family outgoings, students can connect to their own experiences on going out to parks or eating together with their families. Next, with writing skills, we have as a micro skill to use acceptable grammatical systems, tense, agreement, and pluralization. As students write about their families, they primarily use the present simple tense to describe ongoing situations and routines, employing sentences like my sister plays soccer or we eat dinner together. This practice not only reinforces their understanding of verbal tenses, but also requires attention to subject-verb agreement, ensuring that regular subjects use singular verbs. For example, my brother is a student, while plural subjects require plural verbs. For example, my parents are teachers. By focusing on these grammatical aspects in a relatable context, students enhance their ability to convey actions accurately and develop stronger grasp of fundamental grammatical rules. As a micro skill, we have to use cohesive devices written in discourse. As students write about their families, they will often use pronouns, for example, he, she, or they, to refer back to previously mentioned nouns. For instance, introducing my brother, they might say he plays basketball. This use of pronouns prevents redundancy and creates smoother transitions between sentences, helping students to understand how to maintain cohesion in their writing. And finally, with speaking skills, we have as a micro skill to produce reduced forms of words and phrases. As students write about their families, they encounter opportunities to use contractions such as I'm for I am, there for they are, and it's for it is. For example, a student might write, my sister is a great swimmer. She's very talented. This practice encourages students to recognize and employ these forms, which make their writing sound more conversational and relatable. Understanding contractions helps students to develop a more natural writing style, mirroring spoken English. As a macro skill, we have to convey facial features, kinesics, body language, and other non-verbal cues along with verbal language. When discussing activities that family members enjoy, they might use gestures to represent those actions. For example, if a student is talking about their brother playing soccer, they might mimic kicking a ball or running. which adds a dynamic element to their descriptions. This use of kinetics engages the audience and make the presentation more memorable.